Monday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima. How are you?
I'm fine. So I had a little experience yesterday. I went to farmer's market, and I thought my kids are on holiday now, and my first daughter is a spender. So I thought to teach her how to earn. I bought her a pack of candy gums that is scarce in my neighborhood and told her nobody can find here. And if you walk it on your bike when you're riding, you make money. She sold everything yesterday, made a profit of 1,000. She was still counting her money. So this morning. So now,
I love that.
Quick mindset shifts, quick. So in case you have a daughter like my own, quickly deploy that method. But today is our fan's birthday, and it's not just a fan. It's Sammy's mom, Sammy HR. So his mom, Juliana Elomesebo. This is a Benin name, and I murdered it. And today's her birthday. Happy birthday, ma'am, on behalf of Sam and the ladies of Your View. She's a big fan of the show.
Oh, happy birthday, ma. Happy birthday.
Hi, Nima.
I'm doing well. Weekend was good. My son wrote his very last exam, Lagos State. That's the common entrance. And I have small feedback from my son. He said there were many mistakes in the maths questions, that the invigilator told them that they should just, take something. And I'm like, I remember this from my time. We need to be more careful, more detailed. So that's just the feedback. Yeah.
Recycling past questions.
Yes, we need to do better.
How was your weekend? How was BC's place?
Yes, tell us.
Evolve.
So it was a mind shift. It was an amazing, and I feel so grateful to God that I did not let C finish keep me back from paying for that program. And BC is an amazing teacher. No, I told her husband, I told my husband, I was hugging her, and I've known her since forever. So I've seen BC, but I saw her in her element as a teacher. She owns the class. I was taking notes like, if it's clarity and this emotional journey, I think anybody that is in that journey should consult this one-on-one. And then the more coach, people were crying. It was liberating. It was a fantastic 3-day event that if they are doing another one, I would pay and still go. It was worth it. I feel very blessed from being there. And thank you, BC. Thank you, Monica. And thank you, Transform with Natalie. That's Natalie. The three of them were an amazing combination. It was a good one. It was.
I'm so happy.
Well done.
To know.
It was a success.
I really wanted to have been there, but I had so many things. I had an event on Saturday. I was speaking at.
How was that?
It was really nice. It was really nice. I enjoyed it. It was in a Redeemed Church in Lekki. The theme was Be Authentic 2.0.
What story did you pick?
It's interesting. A few stories. They wanted me to get real, and I just shared a few of my stories of how I've been authentic through my journey and how that has helped me. And some of my tools, humility was one of them that I've used and has worked for me. So I'm so happy that I had the opportunity. And then I was able to stop by your mentors.
Yes, my mentor's book launch yesterday, Grace Ofure. Congratulations again, man.
Congratulations to her. Also, it was a packed weekend. A lot of emotional journey for me to have because I had some personal issues I was dealing with. So it was just a roller coaster this weekend. But I thank God, it's a good week. Okay, we have to also remember that a young lady, Toby Amuson, broke the world record. She was, I think she came first this weekend at the World Athletics World Championship gold medal, which she got. It was fantastic. We're so proud of her. They played the national anthem, and she was just full of tears. They played the national of the winner. So she was there, and she was just crying. It was teary. And it was an emotional moment, and you think that people will celebrate. People celebrated her, but others used the opportunity again to denigrate Nigeria. They see Nigeria happened to her, but with all the Nigeria happening to her, she was able to
just focus on positive.
Sometimes, yes, Nigeria happens, but let us also celebrate. Nigeria is a good thing, exactly.
And it will happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But let us always, see, when I hear of those things, you just have to get an opportunity to thank God, for young people like that.
Yes.
She made us proud. And I hope Nigeria would recognize her and should be properly celebrated.
Yes.
Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Security on red alert over threat to Buhari and El-Rufai. NDLA arrest 8 in Lagos, Abuja, Enugu airports. Omar Gege's aide shot dead. Fayemi Fashola, Muslim ticket, a winning strategy. DMO explains sorry debt service note. Ipman on why petrol queues persist. Zenith is 13th time best tier 1 bank with $2.75 billion. And police arrest 4 fake soldiers in Lagos. Okay, let's start with...
I'm sorry, NDLEA.
Go ahead, NDLEA, go ahead.
So the NDLEA has arrested, they say, 2 women and 6 men over alleged attempts, of course, to import illicit drugs. They were caught with hundreds of cocaine pellets and that they were trying to import from Nigeria, and also exportation of thousands of tramadol tablets. They gave a few names here. Oko Paul Ukichukwu was caught at the airport. He had just got off the Ethiopia. He had just come in from Addis Ababa, so he had 76 pellets of cocaine on him. He said that he had always sold women's wigs and hair attachment before finding himself in this business. You know, there were so many other people too. One particular person, Chijoke, 529 pellets of cocaine weighing over 11 kg, concealed in a bag. A young lady, 29-year-old Miss Honora, was arrested at the Enugu airport. She too had, you know, over 2 kg cocaine in her bag, concealed in 2 designer women handbags. That in her own case, she had like a false lining in the bags, and the drugs were found within it. So many other arrests were made from this, and it just goes to show. First of all, thank God for the NDLEA for doing a good job, and just a warning to everyone out there. First of all, they'll catch you. Second of all, you're hurting not just yourself, but so many other people. It's not worth it. So
quickly, the Fashola, Fayemi, and other APC chieftain talking about the Muslim ticket. So yesterday at an interview, the Minister for Works and Housing was asked about his relationship with the APC presidential candidate, which he said was good. And he said that he's very involved in his aspirations, except that, he's not putting it out there, obviously, in public yet. And he says that, according to him, Asiwaju is the best person to drive this country to prosperity. He says that because he has worked with him, he knows him, he believes in his capacity and vision. And when he went on the Muslim ticket, he said, the Muslim ticket is not an issue because we put religion into public life. Religion should be taken out of public life, and we should leave religion where it belongs, in people's personal life. And there are ways of, using it. He said, who should stop being afraid? Who cares who provides what we need? What we need is what we should focus on, and the ability of the person to do that. But, the whipping of Muslim ticket is a major distraction. And Fayemi agreed with him. He also talked about how not so relevant that issue was. Ayiri Emami to talk about how not so relevant that was. And amongst other things that the Minister for Works and Housing talked about, because I watched the entire interview for 1 hour yesterday, he talked about works happening across the country. And he talked, when he was asked about the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway and how long it was taking, he explained that, on the side after the Redeem Camp, there are works still outstanding because Oyo is doing certain drainages that is slowing down contractors completing the work. He talked about the second Niger Bridge being complete by December. So these 2 major roads will be complete by December. And he talked about many other things. Actually.
Okay. I was going to take the DMO because everybody's worried that the revenue we're making is not enough to even pay for our debts. So the Miss Patience Oniha, she's the Director General of the Debt Management Office, was saying yesterday, reiterating that if revenues were high, we would have been able to pay for our debts. But currently, Nigeria earned 1.6 trillion naira between January and mid-year, and paid 1.94 trillion as debt. So obviously our debt servicing is much more. I think the Honorable Minister of Finance also mentioned this. He said it's not feasible to make any provision for the ministries and capital expenditure with this kind of low funding on our budget. Also, I think there was a gentleman, his name is Dr. Odegaard, lamented that $150 billion total national debt, it makes Nigeria insolvent. And also ways to generate revenue is obviously VAT. We talked about that, value-added tax. He also said other improving measures, removal of subsidy, electricity subsidy, granting universities and polytechnics autonomy to also be revenue generating on their own. And he provided quite a few other things. He said that and other remove staff salaries or increase right-size civil service and freeze employment for a while, and use the savings to augment the minimum wage and provide welfare cushion. So he's providing a few solutions here, but the truth is that what we are making is not enough to service down. In the next few years, we're going to be in serious financial crisis.
Nigeria is already in financial crisis. We're just not
It will be worse.
Yes. So I want to take the petrol IPMAN. So IPMAN, that's the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, has given the reason why, the reason for the queues still persisting despite the change in price from 165 to 175. Said that the government has, he said, one of the main factors that we still have queues because logistics impediments are still on ground, bad roads, raining season, non-payment of the petroleum equalization funds promptly, and distribution impediments. He also mentioned that the supply is not enough. So we have only NNPC bringing in petrol, but they are not supplying enough to meet the needs of Nigerians. So the queues will still persist until the petroleum equalization fund are paid promptly, until we have ease in transportation, good roads, facilities that will make it convenient, and more importantly, when they bring in more supply of petrol into the country.
Moving on quickly to The Punch, 1 hour interview. PDP challenges Tinubu again. APC says Asiwaju will floor Atiku. Hypertensive man die as bribe chasing last man seized vehicle.
That's so sad.
Lassa fever, cholera kill 240 experts express worry. Removal of subsidy. NNPC import monopoly will end queue, says marketers. Outrage as terrorists flog trained abductees and threaten Buhari. You must perform, billionaire brother tells Osun governor-elect. Registered voters hit 7 million in Lagos, says INEC. Rep summon ministers BPE over power plant sale. Insecurity, agri imports exceed exports by 443 billion naira. Financial crisis, NCAA audits distressed airlines. And marginal fields operators may earn 4 trillion naira annually. Okay, let's...
So the human interest quickly.
Let's start, yeah.
And I hope that this matter, is taken with the eggshell around it. So these last mile operatives were operating along the Ogulano Drive, and they caught somebody who had, according to them, ran against the traffic light. The family of, a man known as Mudibo Usman, he's a Bureau de Change operator, and his son was conveying him to the foremost radiology consult hospital, on Ogulano Drive, to pick up a test result for his child, while he himself was heading to the Living Heart Hospital in Lekki for a test. Obviously had a heart condition. And, he kept saying to them, I'm really sorry, I need to go to the hospital. It's an emergency, but I just want to pick up this, and, that's what happened. Now, these operatives escorted the car to the foremost radiology center. After all the pleading, they were demanding 50,000, which the man was kept pleading with that. I don't have that money now. I'm heading to the hospital. They insisted. They followed them there. As he went in to pick up the test, they took the car away. So by the moment the son and him came out and he saw he couldn't find his car, he slumped.
Oh, my God.
Unfortunately, he died. And the family have gotten these 2 last mile operatives arrested because the boy went to their yard and found them and said, see, you just cost my father his life. He's dead. At that time, they said, you can take the car.
No.
This system has already been automated. I'm not saying that if he jumped the light, it should have been let go because of his health.
Yes.
But there's a system.
Yes.
You can flag off his plate number and you know how you can put... Why did you have to take the car
away
in his health condition, even though he had told you about his health condition? Because they wanted the money in their pockets. They didn't want the money paid legally into their account. So I hope that they follow it through, and these 2 people are made to, face the consequence of their action.
Okay.
I have the last... just
let me go on a break.
Okay.
When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thank you for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. Mariam had a story?
Yes, so just the regular update from NCDC, that's our Nigeria Center for Disease Control, on Lassa fever. So they say a total of 162 people so far have died of Lassa fever this year, and there are 847 confirmed cases of the disease in the country across 24 states and 99 local governments. Monkeypox cases also are on the rise. They say that the confirmed cases have increased to 117 from 101, and it's spread across, many of our states. Cholera as well is on the rise. A total of over 2,523 suspected cases of cholera, including 78 deaths, have been reported. And the Nigerian Medical Association, the president is worried because, especially he says with monkeypox, that when one person dies, it affects everyone. And so we need to pay attention to, our hygiene and everything that, they've told us to pay attention to, as well as remembering to also keep to the guidelines of COVID-19. It just seems like there's just so many diseases just out there right now.
Let me take the major headline. So, we want to take a story?
Yes,
Go ahead,
please. I want to take the story of the blackouts looming tomorrow, and that's because the NLC wrote a letter on the 22nd of July saying that they are going to be joining ASUU in solidarity for the fact that the issues they raised that made them go on strike hasn't been resolved. Now, the electric, on Tuesday, the strike is supposed to take place tomorrow on Tuesday. Now, the Nigerian Labour Congress are joining academic union staff, but now the electricity workers have decided that they will be joining on this Tuesday in solidarity, that they would also be going on strike, that there will be blackouts. 26th is tomorrow, Tuesday. And they said that there are issues within their own sector too, and they are also they have children, people that they know that have been at home because there was a strike situation. They use the information to also mention that the national grid keeps shutting down. It just happened again, where we generated about 3,000 something, and it dropped to 50 megawatts. The entire country had 50 megawatts.
We got to zero now. Where were you? Abi?
Yeah, crashing.
It did zero. There was zero. You read it in the papers. It went down to zero.
Total, that was
even 3 safe.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
So,
7 times.
Based on all of this, they are also joining the strike. And we should not wait until everything shuts down completely tomorrow before we resolve the issue. The president has given ultimatum, but it's not about ultimatum. Resolve.
So while that is going on, PDP and APC are throwing jabs at each other. So Atiku threw the first jab when he had an interview on Friday, where he was saying that that Tinubu had, as the president, the flag bearer for APC, had begged him to be his running mate back in 2007, but he refused because he didn't want a Muslim ticket. And also challenging Asiwaju to a debate, to more like a media interview. Says that he's sure he's not mentally present, would not be mentally present to do a proper interview. Of course, Tinubu came for him. Felix Moda from the National Publicity Secretary of the APC says that Atiku cannot defeat anybody. That's, that he's not surprised that taking Atiku seriously. That they should understand that campaigns don't flag up until September. After that, let's now talk about debates and interviews that right now is not necessary. That besides, their principal is very, very busy. But, as much as self-care is still healthy, I like the conversation. There are no insults trading, which is good. But we still want, at the end of the day, each of the candidates must be able to speak to Nigerians, articulate their plans, and tell us exactly what they want to do. So we're going to be voting based on issues, on sentiments.
On ability to solve the problem.
Issues. Okay, moving on quickly to the point. Raging gubernatorial wars, parties' unity under threat in states. As godfathers battle godsons. This point, I get it dramatic like son. Rounding police officer drugs, rapes, impregnates 15-year-old niece in Nasarawa. Deputy governors as endangered political species. NGX reverses bullish run. That's Nigerian Forex. Reverses bullish run with 45 BPs drop in market. Okay, Nima has a human interest story.
Human interest story, yes. So this inspector of police in Nasarawa, Lafia, decided to accommodate his niece, a 15-year-old girl who he put in school, but had ulterior motives. And so the moment she moved in, he would drug her and rape her. And she said the first time she woke up to pains and blood all over her, signs that she had been disvirgined. after a while, continued to drug her with different dangerous substances to continue to have carnal knowledge of her. And he did that up to a point and got bolder and started to do it without drugging her. And he will threaten and say, if you dare, your mother, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'm a police officer. Fortunately, sadly, she got pregnant. And he decided to proceed, drug her, to forcefully remove abort the pregnancy. She had complications, and so a medical evacuation was compulsorily done. But by the time this was done, she had spoken to her friends and teachers in school, and they reached out, not knowing what to do, they reached out to a civil society group, the Citizens Center for Justice, and the Federation of FIDA. I'm trying to remember what FIDA is. And so they took it up. They got the photos, the fetus and the DNA of the fetus and that of the man matched to establish, that, this was a constant abuse, because he then was trying to deny everything and, and find a way to run away. But fortunately, this has been done, and I'm hoping that justice will be gotten for this.
I'm even happy that they were able to...
The police also immediately, if they need for administratively within the system.
Moving on now to Vanguard. Tension in INEC in flighting threatened 2023 elections. Terrorist flock kidnapped train victims in fresh video. That's our hot topic a bit later. Russia-Ukraine war. EU seeks additional gas suppliers from Nigeria. NLC meets ASUU orders on solidarity. Larry, I think you took that story already. I was going to take it. Muslim ticket. Again, Atiku Tinubu in verbal war. I took that story. One feared dead as Yoruba-Hausa clash in Ibadan. Delegates at APC presidential primaries now regretting their decisions. This is Amechi. And APC's Muslim ticket slap on Northern Christians, says retired Air Commodore Suleiman. Okay. Should I start with Amechi? Please. So the Minister for Transportation, he says that, he was in Port Harcourt at the 60th birthday celebration of Apostle Eugene Ogu, who is the General Overseer of Abundant Life Evangel Mission. And our minister was talking, he says, those who voted at the APC primaries, who are they? They're ordinary Nigerians that they collected small money from, during that time, and now they are regretting they're saying they made a mistake and they're regretting their choice. And so he was imploring the clerics there that they should please pray for Nigerians and ordinary Nigerians so that they can vote for the type of leadership that we need. He said also that he mentioned that the bishops at the unveiling of Shetima may not have been bishops, but they are Christians. And that, and then he also goes ahead to say, please vote for APC. I'm not joking. May God make you vote for the right candidates that will change Nigeria. Yes. He talked about how insecurity is worse. Yes, insecurity is worse than when he was there. Maybe I don't know now if he meant when he was governor of Rivers State. It wasn't that bad, because he would go into, when they would hear of a situation, they would go into the bushes and chase these people, but that's not what's happening right now. So,
the gas supplies from Nigeria by the EU. So the Director General of the European Commission's Energy Department, Matthew Baldwin, was talking to the Reuters newspaper, and he said that the EU is looking at increasing gas supplies from Nigeria. He said presently Nigeria supplies 14% of what they use, but looking at a possible cut of supplies from Russia, they are then looking to increase this. It's promising. Do we have the infrastructure? Because the last time we were debating this, the infrastructure was a major issue, but then he said Nigeria has promised that they should come in for talks in August, and hopefully. Okay, we have to wrap up. Is there any important story that I wanted to take? We have to run out of time. This issue of Akpabio and Lawan, I don't know what's going on. They said that they might be giving him lifeline. They might be somehow. They're not supposed to be running in this election. They're not supposed to run for two offices. And they ran for the president, and now they're looking at the Senate. They were supposed to resign, remember? Yes. They did resign, so they don't have a chance. They don't have the consequence. They're trying to sneak them in. Consequence for that, I think it's 2 years. We have to run, and unfortunately, we ran out of time. We didn't take it to Daily Sun.
Very, very sad.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. So, our hot topic is what Nigerians are talking about. This video that went viral. It's quite a heartbreaking story. Stay with us. We'll be right
back. Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
So in a new viral video, the terrorists who abducted over 60 passengers of the Abuja-Kaduna train on 28th of March threatened to abduct and kill the President Buhari and Governor Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. The terrorists also boasted that they would destroy the country, kill the remaining passengers in their custody, and sell out the others. In the video, we also saw them flogging the people, the abductees with them. And we saw the women crying and the children crying. And we saw the aggression that these Nigerians had to go through on the hands of these terrorists. And obviously, it brings back again the conversation on insecurity. What has been done, what is being done, and what's going to happen, especially in line with this new video. Obviously, there's a bit of frustration on the parts of the terrorists because they're not getting what they want. The government has since responded and said that this is not unusual in cases like this, where terrorists will try to be more aggressive to their victims because they want to force the hand of the government. That the security, the commander-in-chief is doing everything he can to get back the people's loved ones who have been abducted. And we can say that we've heard this before. They say that they can't do a carpet bombing because it's to affect the victims, you know. So they're telling us that the easiest thing to do is to bomb the whole place. But because we also have victims there, it's difficult to do. So when your government is also complaining that their hands are tied almost, you're thinking to yourself, so what's going to happen? What are your thoughts on this? This is the confusion Nigerians are discussing this morning. You can call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I know this is just going to be lamentation because we can't solve any problem on this table. But I think it's important for Nigerians, especially our leaders who watch our show, to understand the hearts of what our people are going through, what families are going through, and maybe they can help them understand that they need to take more drastic measures. What are your thoughts when you saw this video? I know Mariam hasn't been able to watch the video because it was just an emotional. It took me a while. I saw the video a few times. I didn't touch it. When I now knew you were talking about it, I had to force myself to watch it. So, Nima, your thoughts?
The only provoking thing for me is seeing those children, you know, being put through that and it's not provoking the reaction. So just as you said, we will rant because we don't know what to do. But we don't expect government to not to know what to do. You are in charge of the security agencies. You have a DSS for your intelligence, and you know secret missions. You have the means. You know you cannot be helpless like us. We can only watch this video and feel sorry for the families. But 43 people, and let's not forget, some people died on that train. A young doctor died. Some people died. You know, and these are families who are just going to see their loved ones. And all of them are still there. Only 20 people, I think, have been released. You have about 40-something people left. And it's not encouraging for government to look at it as something that, you know, they cannot do. This has happened since March. The families accused federal government in one of the stories that they don't want to be helpless. So they want to help themselves instead of paying ransom and getting their families out. And the federal government, according to them, scuttled this effort to allow them help themselves. And government is not reassuring by saying, no, we don't want to carpet them. What exactly would you do? Why have you not done it for this long? Yeah. And one thing that government does, which they did in the Dapchi girls' school, was go and get a foreign somebody to come and negotiate. This, they know themselves, encourages the terrorists. So there must be a time where our military strength, our security agents, our strength as a nation, our sovereignty as a nation is used to get kidnappers out.
Miriam, your thoughts
we can trust government
with this development? What do you...
Really sad situation. And for me, I just don't want to come and rant our usual ranting. Because then what? They're still in captivity and we're still not, you know, able to do anything. But it just makes it clear that definitely our country does not have the intelligence, the personnel, the wherewithal to protect the citizens. It's just clear. When we hear of Americans saving their people is when they kidnap them and take them outside their country. They find a way to even get them outside their country. But to have it being done within our country, and we're unable to help people, it just shows how weak we are. And it's time to tell ourselves the truth. The government needs to look for help outside to save Nigerians. Right now, militarily, I don't think we have... I don't think we can do this. I think we're overwhelmed, and it's time to just tell Nigerians the truth. But it scares me for the rest of us, because it is just... You just never know who the next person will be. You just never know. In the papers, we couldn't take it, but they said the federal government colleges have been asked, they've asked their children to leave school immediately. They just shut them down abruptly, because they had heard stories about some gunshots or some threats. So everybody is living in fear. Someone goes out, you know, you call somebody and the person doesn't pick immediately. Your chest, you know, is in your mouth. You're wondering what's happening. It's just a seriously scary situation. Right. And I tell you, there's nothing I've heard that the presidency has said that is different that gives me hope. And I really didn't want to make that today about just lamenting, but it's just really, the sad reality.
Yes. What are your thoughts on this?
So, I agree that we must... Nima, like the security apparatus of Nigeria has failed. It's not today. Maybe when Chibok happened, we felt somehow that they were going to be able to rescue them. When we couldn't rescue them, when the Dapchi, the boys, we've had several of such attacks that it's obvious that we cannot protect within our sovereignty. So there's no need to be belaboring that. But we can have a conversation about how the government responds. You know, I'm tired of hearing these things also happen in other countries. It's very insensitive. Because if it is your own child that is being kidnapped and being lashed on, recorded, being beaten, you would not say this thing also happens in other countries. No, it's not. There are things you don't see. There's a posture that you will carry as a leader that will make me know that you understand what we're feeling. Even if you don't have anything to do, at least let there be a level of compassion and communication consistently. Because you understand that I don't know what to do. I am trying my best. Yeah. The security, and let us communicate with that from that place of compassion, communicate from that place of understanding.
So do you realize that?
That's it. Like Yoruba, I cannot spend money on you, but I would spend my time. I will give you what I have. In constant communication with these people that are their family members left alone, we hear stories that their family members are not checked upon, or that we didn't hear anything from anybody. We don't know what's going on.
The government will argue now that these guys are also threatening the president. I mean, this is a threat. This is a national. This is practically the commander-in-chief of our armed forces is being threatened. They say they're going to bring Buhari here and El-Rufai. That's another part of the conversation. So the audacity for a terrorist to say, who is Buhari? I will bring you here.
I mean, they saved their people from the Kuje prison. So what else? What can you hold them to? So you know how you are fighting with a younger person, the person now comes and does your head like this. Do your worst. That's what they've done. It's just, it's really scary for me.
It's teaching time saves 9.
If we do that, if we have that conversation, the fact that they have the audacity to threaten our president, and this is coming to the elections. If you recall, before APC came in, PDP was going through something not this bad, where it was the Chibok girls, and it was a major thing that caused PDP the elections. Everybody was going on about Chibok. This is a major issue.
This is worse.
And it's like, for APC to even think that this is something that they don't, if they feel they should not address this issue before 2023 election, somebody has to go back to the drawing board. Because this is a major problem.
This is a deal breaker for Nigerians.
These pictures you're seeing is not a joke.
So, Mariah, we're living in daily trauma. Like Nigerians are living in daily trauma. You are driving in traffic, you see somebody behind you, you start shaking. You get a phone call, I hope everybody is safe where you are. I hope, like, there's a daily traumatic experience of living in this country, and it seems like our politicians don't understand. So we are having conversations, and people are discussing things that are not the real issues. We're talking about financial crisis. We're spending more money, servicing debt that we are earning. It's not that you are spending money on infrastructure. You are servicing debt with more than what you are earning. Economic crisis on ground, insecurity on ground, food inflation on ground, and then we are arguing on non-issues.
Okay, so
when it comes
let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines and have hear from our viewers. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. You know, during the break, we're talking about Nigerian issues, you know, and it's always, in places where Nigeria is, like, the government is clearly the one at fault. We all come out and say and condemn, because this one, there's no other person. But the truth is that, what else could have been done, in your own view as a citizen? Yes, our armed forces are overwhelmed. Intelligence or gathering is poor because for some reason they can't detect where these people are. Even if they know where they are, why have they not been able to invade and capture these people? This shouldn't be such a hard thing. Just like Miriam reminded us, even the U.S. government came to our country, to our own country, to pick up their own citizen in the bushes.
That we cannot access.
Can we engage those same people that came to carry their citizens? Come and help us get this our own citizens too. We'll pay you for that. You know, it's so painful, you know, because when I saw those women crying, there was a woman, I didn't hear what she was saying in Hausa, but she was obviously lashing out probably at the federal government that they come and answer these people. I don't know what she said, but I'm just assuming she's lamenting and shouting and telling the government to come to their rescue.
So probably she's afraid that it will cost her life. I don't want to believe that our military are not capable, that our security system apparatus has collapsed completely, like Tokwe said. I don't want to believe that, because he works when he has to work. The president's team fought back bandits' attack. Even if the terrorists got bold and shot at his vehicle, they shot back. So I don't want to believe. I think there's a will issue here. An important part of, I will not allow this happen to my people. I will be president over everybody. And it cannot be a Nigerian's life that will be treated or taken with that levity. Remember the farmers when the terrorists went into a farm and they just kept shooting, wiped out an entire, clan. And there was this 3 UN workers that were picked up, and they did a video where they just... Those are things that... Execution. Those are some of the things that provokes a person to say, I'm the leader of this nation, not under my word. You know? You
don't have a people to lead.
No, but you're not pained. Whenever it happens, you just, it happens... And we condemn it. I've commanded whatever, giving them a shoot aside. You just
ultimatum. Those are the words.
So I don't believe. I know that Nigerians are the people who make up this army, but we've seen where a chief of army staff before the late chief of army staff passed. We saw things improve. We know that somebody needs to motivate these people.
President,
people need to motivate.
A president who told us with his own mouth that he's tired. Like, he can't wait for the next few months just so that he can hand over.
If you hand over now.
So he says he's if you're the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, he's telling us that,
like this, I'm tired of the situation. He can hand over now. You know how the pride of saying yes.
You know what?
I cannot handle this thing, but I think my president will be able to handle it.
You step down.
And you step down and you let someone that will be sitting and drinking the problems every day.
Your name will be in our books for life.
Yes.
Muhammadu Buhari said, after some time, you know what? He stepped down and handed over to his vice president.
Security issues and inability to...
That, for me, carries so much weight that forever, the history books will forever remember you.
And you make a good point, because he may be looking at it that I'm almost gone, but the truth is that every life is,
every single day.
Every 24 hours is important right now. And if someone cannot handle that office, it will be doing us a great good, and himself also, and his legacy, if he steps down.
Absolutely.
But, you see, I just hate lamenting. Constantly talking about something over and over again, and then nothing happens. I just really would like, that someone can give us, things that we need to do. Sacrifices we even need to make for this to come, to be possible. You talked about politicians. For me...
Let me pause you for a second, please. Let me take this. I'm holding for a while. Ayo from Chesterfield. Good morning. Are you there?
I'm here. Good morning, guys.
You're live. Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Before I just draw my point, I just want to speak to Nima quickly. I've been trying to pass this across since 2 weeks ago. The dress she wore during that Salah week that she said she was going to give away, please don't give it away. It looks really good on you, please.
Thank you for Nima.
Thank you very much.
All right. I mean, it's a sad day in Nigeria. I saw that video yesterday. I lost sleep, to be honest, because what did they do wrong? They boarded the train and see what happened to them. I just have two things to say that has given me encouragement in Nigeria this month. And I'll say those two things, drop my premise on that. The first one was the Attorney General that resigned, I think 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Yes, there were issues surrounding his resignation, but I saw a honest man who was honest enough to say, you know what, guys, this is a big trouble for me, I'm going. And I think it draws on what you guys were just saying now. I think by this morning, we should have started seeing resignation. People saying, you know, we can't handle this thing. Service chiefs, people who are staying in control of this thing saying, you know what, we hands off, we can't handle this. And it's evidence already. It's evident. Let's not deceive ourselves. That resignation should have started rolling in this morning. That's one. The second thing that encouraged me, and I think saying that, you know, informed me that we can have a great future, which we're praying to have, the transparency and communication of the Vice President last week. He was ill. He communicated his illness, what he thought it could be, and where he's taking his treatment. Over the weekend, I also...
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I was trying to say that.
Yes, you know, just little drops of hope. Yeah, but I was saying something about, you know, going forward, the politics, general elections that we're looking to, and for me, it is completely and simply going to be issue-based. I don't care about anything else. I want to know what your antecedents are. I want to know what your plans are.
Not a joke.
I want to know every single detail. I want to understand. I want to know that you have the understanding of how the country works, the military, how you're going to use it. I don't care where you're from, what you... That's all that's going to be important to me, and I hope that that's what's important to all Nigerians. And if anyone cannot answer these salient questions at this time, because we're a country that is about to implode.
Absolutely.
And if anybody coming out cannot answer these important questions, and if you can go through your past and say that you have done things that would not reflect well in our country, in our security, in our finances, in our economy, I would have nothing to do with that person.
Absolutely.
My vote is so important in 2023. I'll only put it for the right candidate, and the candidate has to be someone that understands where we are at and knows the urgency of what we need to do to get out of this.
Thank you, Mara. I think that sums it up. Let me take Sam. Sam from Benue State. Good morning. Are you there?
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Murayo, and all the ladies in the house. I'm Sam Otopa from Benue State, a pastor. Murayo, I think there's something we need to take note of. Not everyone speaking against evil is actually a good person. That the president seems to be speaking against this thing, and the body language seems to be different, does not mean they don't know what is happening. It has come to our notice that this government seems not to be proactive. And if you're not proactive, you cannot be productive. It's a sign that this government has actually failed this country. That you can hear terrorists telling you that they will come and kidnap your president and kidnap a sitting governor. And then, like mommy said here, that when they shot at the army actually shot back. It's a sign that they are not even proactive. This is a of the president, and they are supposed to be aware of everything from maybe 10 kilometers ahead, that there are people gathered around here intending to attack the president. So if they could do that to the president, what will happen to the normal citizens?
Thank you very much, Sam. I'm going to go on a break, but it was important I mentioned this point before you go on a break. I mean, Miriam talked about let us addressing the issues, because there are propagandists around whipping up sentiments. Christian, Muslim, religion, ethnicity. The real issues, those people in those videos are not Christians. at least some of them are not Christians. We can see there are Muslims and there are probably Christians, both mixed religions in that place. Nigerians are not under attack, not Christians or not Muslims. Because when propagandists come out with all this rhetoric, oh, they want to Islamitize Nigeria, they want to Christianize Nigeria, oh, they're doing this, they refer to the Owo massacre. Yes, Owo massacre happened to Christians, but these people who are also being attacked, some of them are non-Christians. So it is an attack on us, the people. Oh, nice. We should remember these issues when the propagandists come up to start painting. It's all about Islamization. It's not about that. It's that Nigerians are under attack, and I hope that these videos, Nigerians are seeing beyond what the propagandists are putting out there for us to see. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. When we discuss insecurity, we always forget one most important component are the army, the soldiers who are out there risking their lives for us. So many of them have also said, because I got a message from somebody who is a retired soldier, that it's easy to condemn, but there are many soldiers that are risking their lives to even try to save some of these people. So we understand that. But what our worry is the strategy that is being employed by the government to get these children back.
So my own perspective of the challenge we're facing, because you asked the question when we came back from the break then, that I was waiting to answer, that what else can we do? Because there are many actors in this field. These people, Nigerians or non-Nigerians, are working with Nigerians. They are working based on the information of Nigerians. Yes. They are working in collaboration with Nigerians. They are being fed by Nigerians. They are getting ammunition. They are buying petrol from Nigeria. There is an institution profiting from this industry, this negative, vile industry called banditry, terrorism, kidnapping. And the people that are benefiting from this industry are Nigerians. Yes. They have the information. They know when they come and buy food. Yes. They know how these things happen. They know how they come out. They know who they send out. And because they are making money from it, they are not talking. Yep. It has not affected them yet. They're not talking. But they must start working, because the military can only use what they have. And some of us, just because we see these things, we sit down and assume that all the soldiers are so compromised, everybody just fold their hands. They are dying every day too. Almost every time there's an attack, one soldier, one person in law enforcement lose their life. They lose their lives every day too. So we are not saying that. It's not a case of, oh, our military people are not working, because they are dying. So would they really go and die? Would they go out to go and die? So we must realize that all of us need to be, we should pray for Nigeria, and we must be having that conversation. So when you sit down and you're tweeting, you're messaging, you're insulting, also take time in that your space to creatively ask Nigerians, the chiefs, the service chiefs, the person selling bread to them. You know, there was a man caught that became a millionaire from selling bread to bandits. It increased capacity.
Well, it's the economic situation of our country that will lead somebody to sell bread to a bandit. No. It's because you're not economically empowered. No, I'm not excusing. I'm just saying that because remember the government said that we need information. Yes, they need the communities. All those that's where they are. We understand that part too. But you see, is a vicious circle that will continue.
So the leader is not meant to know the solution, but the leader should inspire us. So the president can inspire us to say, I might be hungry, but that person is my brother being kidnapped, and I know they are giving them food. I will do my part.
When you say the leader does not have to know the solution, you're talking about the knowledge of, maybe this security knowledge, but the compassion to say no.
Yes. Let me just to this leader thing. Someone has said, because if it's a leader that's coming from what do they call them now? Civilian. If you're not a civilian, I can understand. Williams Olajimoke says, if the president, who has a general title, can't offer strategic help to fight insecurity. I wonder what the service chiefs can do. They keep saying they know what they are, where they are and their sponsors, but no result till now. Soldiers managed to capture terrorists, and now they escaped. So there's an institution, just in response to the person that talked about soldiers dying. We understand that, and we understand the institution that is putting them at risk. They're just treating the lives of our soldiers as if it's worth nothing. Do you understand? We are upset at everything. The structure on ground is not working. We had soldiers at one point where they were almost going to protest because their welfare was just denied them. We have families who would tell us how poorly they've been treated when soldiers have lost their lives at the war front. So we are talking about just everything. And we have, whether we like it or not, our present president, his military background and experience was supposed to put him above and beyond every other person that ran with him when he ran for election. And we hope that it will come to play today at a time like this. And sadly, here we are.
So I met 2 young soldiers who came on their break to the Ojo military cantonment, and we sat down to talk. And they were trying to explain to me what they go through. And one of them just got frustrated. He took off his clothes, and I saw the injury.
Oh, gosh.
A bullet wound that passed through that could have cost his life. And he said, Auntie, I treated myself. In the Northeast, before you get between here and the hospital, nothing, that they will be there for days, that help will come in days, and that the friends around him, other soldiers, had to become and patch this injury themselves. They know these things. Who is the service chief? Who is in charge of the monetary compensation and all of those payments? Who is in the military barracks? Who is not taking care of the widows of soldiers who have died? And they were blaming all the soldiers who will go there and announce, if you go back to town, don't tell the wives of that their husbands have died. They delay the announcement. They know what they do. And a sitting president is someone who will say, I will lead by asking the right questions and saying, questioning the accountants, because some people join the military, they become Al-Qaeda top officers, they become millionaires overnight. They can't explain their wealth.
We have a few messages. Let's take a few messages before we wrap up on this.
Okay, Charlie says, this is unacceptable. Please and please, we beg the government responsible for this. It's not pride. This should be our priority as a nation, not just to save the people, but to save this country. Our children have been at home in the last 7 months. We need help. John Terry says, when we interrogate the bandits, they let us know that with the support of their father, okay, sorry, I didn't get that. Samuel Abola Stephen says, I think this shows the incompetency of our security service chiefs and lack of love for the country. Imagine terrorists treating the #1 man of the country, threatening the #1 man of the country anywhere on earth. Does this happen? I'm not surprised if the government has no hands in this.
We have to wrap up on this, but I think, thank you to Olajumoke for reminding us that our president was a former general. So we expected that he would bring that to bear as a president, but unfortunately we haven't seen that play out. Our hearts go out to these people. We just hope that somehow they're able to meet the demands of these terrorists or even rescue them. That's a better picture. But the truth is that Nigerians would continue to make insecurity, put insecurity on the front burner, because that's a deciding factor for any government at this time. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to other segments. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Moving on to another pressing issue in Nigeria. Now, the president of the Academic Staff Union of the Universities, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, he will be shedding more light on this prolonged ASUU strike, the state of the state-owned higher institutions in Nigeria, the 2 weeks ultimatum the president gave us, and other issues surrounding ASUU. Good morning, sir. Welcome, Prof, to the show.
Oh, hi.
Sir, are you there? Professor? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
No.
Hello, but if you can increase the volume a bit.
Okay, all right. So, my first question to you is to give us an update on where we are as of today, because we are hearing about the combined strike we're from NLC and all the other groups coming together electricity workers also coming to the solidarity strike. Before we even start the strike, where are we today on the negotiations with the federal government on the issue of the UTAS, issue of payment and arrears?
Thank you very much. No, this started quite some time ago. And we have finished all the negotiation on our 2009 agreement. The UTAS, the 3 solutions have also been tested, and we are waiting for their result. That is where we are basically. And we finished the negotiation on the 16th of June, which was 1 month ago. Until now, they've not reached us on whether they agree or if there are issues we need to sort out. They've not reached out to us. More than a month, about 6 weeks now. More than no report from them.
So that's for UTAS?
Test of UTAS, we finished testing 2 weeks ago or so. Until now, we have not had their final report. So that is where we are basically as at now. And based on that, and other intercession by the Nigerian Labour Congress as far back as May, and nothing happened, they have decided to join us on a solidarity.
Okay, let me be sure I understand you, Prof. So there are various levels. The first layer is the UTAS versus IPPIS. That one, according to you, is being tested. You're waiting the last 2 weeks for them to get back to you. There's the issue of payment of arrears.
They finished testing.
They finished testing. So we're waiting for their response to you. No problem. The second layer is payment of the arrears and the money being owed to the universities. Where are we on that? Have they made payment?
No. They have not even agreed. They have not even agreed on what to pay and how they are going to pay it. So, on that also, we have given the opportunity that, look, spread it over a time. And you find out they have not done anything. On the issue of our academic allowances, that they are in backlog, similarly, they have not paid anything. They are, based on our MOA or 2020, they are owing us 2 tranches. They would have paid the second tranche in February this year, and we are in July. They've not even paid the one of August last year or the one of February this year. So these are the issues. Since we started this strike, they have done exactly nothing on all the issues for which we gave the notice initially and started the strike. So nothing. After almost, we are going to wait more than 5 months.
All right.
So, sir, obviously, everyone on this set, all of us have been clamoring for ASUU, that ASUU should be answered and the situation dealt with in such a way that we get the children, our students, back learning. And some people have shared the opinion that are our lecturers and ASUU being selfish in their quest for answer to the detriment of the students who are left at home. What would your answer be to those who share that sentiment?
My answer to that question is that those who share that confidence, who share that view, don't like Nigeria as a country. Anybody who shares that view does not like Nigeria. Let me ask one question. Maybe it will help us. In the 60s, 70s, those who were around, when you enter a typical Nigerian universities, you see son of governors, son of ministers, son of presidents, son of military general. You see foreign lecturers, foreign students in that university. Do you still have them? If you don't have them, why? That is why we are struggling. We're not struggling for our personal interest. They are holding me and my member's salary for 5 months. People are looking for what to save their children. We are the one being punished. But we are fighting for the future of Nigeria. To bring Nigeria to university to the world standard, where foreign lecturers can come to Nigeria and foreign students can come to Nigeria, and we don't pay so much of our hard-earned money to other university tuition fees. I will give you an example. If you check February report of last year, it showed that Nigeria spent 1.6 trillion naira as tuition fees in other university. We are spending 200 billion naira or more as tuition fees in Ghana. We were the one telling you, say, Ghana must go. Today, Ghana are telling you that Nigeria must go. That That is the problem where we are. So anybody telling you that we are at home, we are punishing students, does not like this Nigeria. And when you check, the children are not in the public universities.
All right.
The issue of Nigerian schooling abroad is more of a people's lifestyle or way of doing things than a government's decision. Don't you agree? Because if you say Nigerians are paying this amount of money, is it government alone who are paying it, or Nigerians, including lecturers that are part of ASUU, whose children are schooling abroad? Most of you, members of ASUU, get your PhDs abroad as well. Did you get my question, sir?
I'm hearing you.
Say it again, sir.
Sir, the issue of Nigerian schooling abroad is more of a lifestyle thing, more of a way of life of the people, and not necessarily government's decision. Government did not ask anybody to start moving abroad. The drive to school abroad has been since in the 60s, not even in the 70s. And members of ASUU, lecturers that are members of your association as well, school abroad. Most of you do your masters and PhDs in schools abroad. So the drive to get an abroad exposure is a way of life thing for Nigerians, not necessarily government. Don't you agree?
That also shows that you don't have idea of what is going on.
Yeah,
it has shown that you don't have idea of what is going on in this country.
Okay, sir.
You don't. If you know, you will not be saying what you are saying.
Please explain.
Which Nigerian man can send the children to school abroad in this country, where school fees is between 4 and 5 million, where minimum wage is 300,000, 30,000 a month? Which lecturer can send a child abroad for anything whose salary is 400,000 naira a month? So those are the issues. You see, many of us are so shallow-minded that we really don't understand what's happening in this country. Like I said, go around Nigerian university, if it is optional, whether you see any governor child school in Nigerian university, go around this country, whether you see a minister's son schooling in Nigerian universities. So that is the problem. Maybe TVC is paying you so well you can send your children abroad.
All right.
But it's not so in other people. So
all right, let me
problem.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have our guest, Professor Osodeke. Sir, are you still there?
I'm here.
Hello, sir. The president of ASUU. Okay.
I'm here.
Yes, Miriam has a question for you.
Yes, sir. For me, I think, and a lot of Nigerian parents, we just want to know today from you, sir, what 1, 2, 3 things do you want the government to do today that will have our children back in school? And what 1, 2, 3 things are you willing to let go or hold off for a bit so that our children can go back to school, sir?
Like I said, the issue is not before us. It's before the government. We have finished meeting with them, and both sides agreed. That committee representing government met with us, and we have agreed on what government should do, waiting for them to come back to us and say, we accepted, or we don't accept, let's change A, B, C, D. That is where we are. We have finished on our own side. The Nimibilis committee have negotiated with us, we have all agreed, and we do ask them, do you represent government? They say yes. So
okay,
we're done with that.
Let us, sir,
on the issue of UTAS,
Professor, let us break it down, because I want Nigerians to really understand what we're talking about. Let's start, number one, UTAS. So you have said, and we've heard. So she's saying that today, if UTAS gets approved today, where what has been reviewed as agreed by federal government today, would you resume? Would our children go back to school? That's the first question. Prof.
If what we agree with government on renegotiation, or what we agree with government on UTAS, if what we agree with government on issue of revitalization fund, on issue of EAA, in our 2020 memorandum of action, if they are approved, we go back to work immediately. Our other issue is not take more than 1 or 2 weeks, but they are allowed to linger for 6 months. So these issues are completely before the government, not before ASUU.
Okay.
Excuse me.
So yeah.
Yes, let me just ask a follow-up question. So, as I said, I asked what the government can do, the first 2 or 3 specific things. So, concerning UTAS, if government says we cannot go with UTAS as of now, what are you willing to compromise as regards UTAS specifically?
Our country, we are where we are today. We are where we are as a country today with all the states of our education, security, everything, because we like to compromise. That's our problem. We like to compromise. Why can't you use a program known as IPs? You went outside the country and collected. Somebody dashed you and said you should pay extra amount, $1 every month, on behalf of all your lecturers, all your workers in Nigeria, and you pay $1 every month. The country who said they don't have money. And this program has shown that it is completely filled with corruption, as you have seen with government agency, EFCC, and thank God that the man who was in charge of these IPs that we are praising, we don't want to let go, is now being arraigned before a court for embezzling money, and we are still dealing with that. A foreign program that we pay so much for. Meanwhile, your academics have developed for you and UTAS a homegrown program. You don't need to pay 1 kobo, and better than whatever you are called IPs that have been ridiculed by the Auditor General account of 2019. Tell the government to release that report of Auditor General of 2019 and show you the degree of corruption and inconsistency in IPs, and we're insisting. You see, like I said, Nigeria as a country, we are where we are today because we like to compromise. ASUU as a union of intellectuals will not compromise.
Okay, so I get that now. That's very clear.
Yes.
That's crystal clear on the UTAS.
The
Now, on the revitalization fund, how much are you asking for? How much has been paid? And how much would you get today that will make you call off the strike?
Let me explain to you the meaning of revitalization fund. It's like Nigerians don't understand the meaning of revitalization fund. In 2013, the government sent up a team to go around all Nigerian universities. And they came out with a damning report, known as the need assessment report. And that committee recommended that government should put in 1.3 trillion naira into Nigerian universities to bring them all to date with the world.
Okay.
Go and check the ranking of Nigeria of universities in the world. Where are we ranked? That go and do that. So we met with them and said they cannot afford it in one fell sweep. We said, okay, let's spread it over 6 years. 200 billion naira per year over 6 years from 2013 till today, 9 years ago. All they have released, this government have released, is just 50 billion. So that is the problem. If we have done that, you'll be seeing foreigners calling here, foreign students coming to this university, like we are going to Ghana, are also paying us in hard currency. But the government will tell you, we don't have money.
But they have
But when we are on strike in the past 5 months, government have approved more than 200 billion naira to feed school children. I don't know where they are. Those children are. I don't know where they are being fed. I live in a community and nobody is being fed in my community. But in the crisis, released 200 billion. They said they don't have money. Within this period, government have just also announced that they are releasing 400 billion for poverty. What is the meaning of that? So when you rank things, when you rank Nigeria and 4 trillion for fuel subsidy, so if you rank priority in a normal country, what comes first? Education or feeding of children? Do the infrastructure in university or say you are giving food to children and you don't see those children?
Thank you.
That's our crisis.
Thank you, Prof.
So what we are saying,
Thank you for breaking
that government should put 200 billion every year into Nigeria over 6 years and revamp our university.
Right.
I was in a university where they are using stove as a busing burner.
Yeah.
As in,
So what do you want to produce from that?
Thank you. Okay.
so thank you so much for addressing the issues in a way that every Nigerian that is watching can understand the pain point. And I would like to ask this question, because I know that our lecturers you are super smart people. Now, our economy is in crisis. Many Nigerians are unaware of how bad they are, but you are. My question to you is, the government has said they don't have money, but you have economists. Have you gone through the current financial challenges we're facing, have you been able to see where you believe the funds can be pulled out of and then placed in education? And have you rationalized how it would add value if they do this, make this sacrifice for the education sector? Can you share that with us, sir?
I will share that with you. But let's start from the beginning. In those countries that are doing well today, number one, when the country have problem, they go to their university, look for the intellectual to resolve those problems, to give their solution. But in Nigeria, when they have problems, they run abroad. Government going abroad to look for a partner. World Bank tell you what to do. Is that how other countries that are developed, like Malaysia, just name them, is that how they develop? They use their intellectuals. But we abandon our university, we abandon our intellectuals with all their research finding, and you are running abroad to even go and look at how to pay salary of your staff, you run abroad. So that is the origin of where we are today. Two, we are paying 4 trillion naira for fuel subsidy. Do we need to pay 1 kobo for fuel subsidy? I can assure you, if you challenge Nigerian university today to develop 100 medium refineries for this country, they will develop that 100 for you within 4 years when you fund it. But today, we are in a country that we have all the crude, you send abroad, they refine it, and you go and buy from them. And so we are the one destroying our system. Look at the pay for the political office holders. One man going home with 30 million naira a month. Another one is going with 30,000 naira a month. So that is our problem. Two, everybody want to get money from one central, federal, what do you call it, FAC. You're not thinking of how to generate money. Our farms that were there in those days, but we have been destroyed. All our companies, Nigerian Railway, Nigerian Airways, all of them destroyed. Let me give you an example. If the colonialists were able to build a railway line from Port Harcourt to Maiduguri, in those days, in the 50s, 60s, build a railway line from Lagos to Sokoto, why have we called that after more than 60 years of independence, we cannot build one railway line? So that is it. We don't look at ourselves. We believe that all you want to do, you run abroad. So the best way to rebank our university, our system, our economic system, is to leave this foreign thing and look at our intellectuals within. We have some of the best economists in the world. We have some of the best doctors in the world. We have some of the, go around the world, you will see them. Some of these technologists, engineers, where are they in the world? But we create an environment where they cannot survive and they run away. Today, go to any university in the country, go to any country, you see Nigerian lecturers teaching in those universities are doing research. But in our own, they cannot stay here and do work because our laboratories are rotting. No laboratory.
Right.
So
let me get one question. Let me get one question for you.
Who will come and look at our own intellectual here and let them develop the country for us, not looking for foreign aid.
Yeah. Nima, go ahead.
Okay, so on government side, the argument is that they have created certain funds, like TED funds and all of that, to help meet infrastructure within universities. How true is that? Then, number two, the 1 trillion naira ASUU is proposing. Based on current value of the naira, is it still viable for this that you're asking for?
I don't hear what is. I don't hear.
So she's asking about TED fund.
I'm not hearing her.
TED fund is supposed to be the one to help disburse funds to the universities for these infrastructures. How is that going? What's TED fund doing? That's on one. And secondly, what's the second question?
The revitalization, yes. The devaluation of the naira compared to what ASUU is asking, is the 1 trillion naira still viable?
Good. Let me start with TED fund. How did TED fund originate? That is the question we should ask ourselves. TED fund originated in 1992 when ASUU also went on this type of strike.
Yes.
Our government said we cannot fund it. And we said, let us go and tell you, we will tell you how to fund it. And we said, collect 2% of the profit made by every company and use to fund education. That was how TED fund originated today. When you go around, it's ASUU's product. When you go around Nigerian university today, 90% of all the projects you are going to see are that TED fund need assessment, the first tranche of need assessment. So what am I saying? Our intellectual came out with this recommendation that government fought against, like they are doing now also. When you look at our new agreement we are talking about, we also suggested how government can also raise money like TED fund. But they will not look at it. That is one. Two, third fund also, the way it is today, when we had the idea of third fund, we didn't believe that it's going to be the bureaucratic system that you have today. That wasn't the idea. The idea was that third fund was like a foundation. Every year, the board will meet, and all the money generated will be distributed to the universities, polytechnic, and college education. That was the idea. This bureaucracy today will not be there. Today, more than 40% of third fund money is spent on bureaucracy, traveling abroad. This one, need assessment, special intervention, what have you. That also destroyed this third fund that we have. So if government also to go back to the first idea, the initial idea of third fund, there should not be a bureaucratic setup. It should be there. You must say, hey, this is your money, this is your money, this is your money, and all this bureaucracy you have, go and check at third fund. So they also brought it down. What we've spent so much time, had my salary, had my children's life, and we got it. Now it has become a bureaucratic thing. It has become political.
Thank you so much, sir. I think
so those are the problem we have.
Right. Thank you so much.
I think you raised about what's the second one?
The 1 trillion naira. That what you're asking for right now is it enough? Really? Would it be enough?
What we are saying, you must start from a place.
Right.
I can assure you, government, go and look at the first tranche that was released by Jonathan, who they also take from a third fund. They have, when you go to university, you will not see big projects on need assessment. If you have released this over the past 6 years, we'll not be where we are today. It's still not late. We can still do that. And we will still upgrade our system to at least a place our colleagues in African countries will attend. But when you just sit down and we say, ASUU compromise.
So I have to wrap up with you, sir. But this issue of strike, I was going to say, yeah, go ahead.
Yes. So I have 2 questions, but let me start with the strike. So the way you have explained to us exactly what is going on, we understand. In fact, the way you have explained it, even parents should be on strike with you. But Labour is joining you on strike. And one of the things you mentioned, you said there's the 4 trillion being put aside for subsidy. I know Labour has stood against government deciding to take off that money for subsidy. So do you sit with Labour and let them understand how everything is connected and interconnected?
Thank you, Mara. Let me add to that, because I have a personal issue with Labour on that issue, because they constantly have this the resentment of government each time government tries to remove subsidy. But you are now telling us that 4 trillion naira could easily be diverted to the universities. So now that they are coming to you to ride on the back of ASUU for a strike, are they conflicting? Is there a conflicting interest in this, do you think?
Let me explain to you. For those of us in ASUU, for those of us in academics, we don't believe there's fuel subsidy. Okay. We don't believe there's fuel subsidy. If Nigeria have 4 refineries that can produce more than enough fuel for us to take and give to our neighbors, why are they not working? Deliberate. How come since 1999 that this civilian regime came on board, they've not built 1 refinery? How come they have not built 1 refinery in 24 years?
By using the money that will
have paid subsidy. Should any country that produce crude at this age be importing fuel? The answer is no. So we don't believe that there is self-subsidy. It's just what we have about this so-called fuel subsidy that people are benefiting and they are enjoying it. I don't see any country with 4 refineries. And you want to spend 4 trillion to subsidize fuel. When you put 2 trillion in those refineries and you are serious about it, they will work.
But let me, Professor, please. Fuel. I want to be sure I understand.
No, let me finish.
Okay,
let me finish, please. There's something wrong. NLC is not a different body. ASUU is an affiliate of NLC. Therefore, they are within what they are doing. They are not doing anything different. They are part of NLC. We are part of NLC. We pay our dues to NLC. So it's not as if you are coming to join ASUU or ASUU. It's the same thing. For the first time, and I thank God it's happening, the children of every member you see NLC, Nigerian laborers, Nigerian workers, 99% have their children in Nigerian universities. So they should protect their children being at home. So the government saying, what have you, airport people, because that's how they fly. Sir. All of us should enjoy what those children who are at home are enjoying.
Yeah.
So all of us should enjoy what those children who are at home are enjoying. All of us should enjoy that thing that lecturers who are not be paid for 5 months are enjoying. Okay. So that's what it should be. And I thank the present leadership of NSC that they should take Nigerian struggle
Right.
As we did during the military.
All right.
When we tell the athletes to go, we should also
Let me
take
get
the trouble with
one more
these
question in for you. Go ahead.
Who don't believe that Nigeria belongs to them?
In the midst of all of government has to deal with in your demands, they also have to deal with where they will raise the money for the salary increase that ASUU is asking. Can you hear me, sir?
You see? Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay.
Just wait. Earlier this year, the government increased DTA, duty toll allowance. They are the ones who travel all over the world. They increased DTA by 100%. With nobody's struggle, no strike, they increase what they collect, which is DTA, traveling to London, traveling all over, any night you travel, they double it, they increase it, and left the salary of 30,000 for ordinary workers. So how did they get money to pay funding for those DTAs?
These are the issues.
So that is the question you should ask. There is interest. It's the interest. So that is it. That solves your problem. That answers your problem. If they can't money to increase the one they, you know, they are all over the place traveling, they can double it. 100% increase.
Sir, there's something you took us through that I want you to clarify before we run out. Sir, Prof, there's something I'm still not clear. When you say we're not paying subsidy, maybe for a layman, they're saying crude, how much is it about crude? Maybe between $50 and $60. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, $60 per barrel. But what we are paying Nigeria is not reflective of what is being, crude is, the cost of crude globally.
Yes.
And that's why Nigeria is, we are paying a certain amount, and so they are benchmarking, and they're giving us a certain amount to pay. So Nigerians believe that if we're going to pay the real figure, we can't afford it. That's why they're paying the subsidy. Are you telling us that there's no subsidy, meaning that we are actually paying the real price? I'm really confused when you say there's no subsidy.
Listen to my argument. Listen to my argument. My argument is as a country. My argument is as a country. We should not be talking about fuel subsidy. If we are refining oil in Nigeria, why are you talking about dollar? Do we refine oil in dollar in Nigeria? If you have 4 refineries and none is working for the past 23 years, and you are telling somebody you are paying for subsidy, what does that tell you? That is the question we should ask ourselves. You have 4 refineries as at 1999, 4. They were working. We're not talking of first subsidy. And then you came out 2023. The civilian regime has not built 1 refinery. Not 1 is working. And every year they budget money to service those refineries. And then the person who also managed those refineries will tell me that we are paying subsidy. You are doing it for a purpose.
Okay, so is tomorrow's strike still ongoing? Because we have to wrap up now.
Definitely.
Sorry, protest. Tomorrow's protest.
Tomorrow because you belong to the trade union also.
So tomorrow,
I will look forward to see you tomorrow.
2-day protest.
I don't want to see your TV tomorrow. You're going to join us tomorrow.
Professor, thank you very much.
No, I want to see you at this thing.
Okay, we'll see. We are with you, spirit and soul. Thank you very much, Prof. I think
thank you.
I think today's interview was a bit enlightening for us because we hear these issues of revitalization, UTAS, but sometimes it's not broken down for us to understand what's the issue with UTAS. So from my understanding, UTAS is a homegrown solution, which the academics are insisting that we use, not the IPIS, which has been paid from abroad, that is brought in, and according to their own, but it costs a lot of money, and they're also saying that it has its own issues of corruption. But they're saying use the homegrown one. That's one. Secondly, they're saying that they need money to revitalize, and since 2013 to date, only less about 50 billion has been paid so far. They're asking for 200 million a year because we need to increase the standard. And I've said it over and over here. My husband was born and raised in Ife quarters. And the stories he has of what Ife looked like to what he has today, it's 2 different things. It's different. So those universities do need to be revitalized, and they need the funding. And I think it just goes to what is our government prioritizing?
Exactly.
Is education priority or is not priority? That's what I've heard from this. And I think that's what ASUU is fighting for. Well, we hope at some point we're able to resolve this issue. But I think I have better clarity. We have to wrap up.
We have to wrap up, okay.
That's all we can take on the show today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.